Hey everybody, welcome back to another playthrough of Dungeons Deep, Caverns Dim. I'm your host Dave Walsh, and as always, I have with me. I would guess that at this point, in the amount of time we've been spending together digitally, Matt and I are actually friends now. Like I wouldn't feel bad knocking on his door and saying, "Hey, I'm here to play a little Lord of the Rings." So, Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm hanging in. So, we've tried this scenario a couple of times. We lost miserably twice, and then we lost almost in heartbreaking fashion a third time. We got through the riddle mechanic, which is my least favorite part of the game. Probably, I don't think I've ever disliked a mechanic more than I've disliked the riddle mechanic. But and then we only did that to get overrun on the third stage. We went out of the frying pan and into the fire, so to speak. So what have you been up to? What have you been up to lately? And are you
Oh,
ready? Are you ready to do this? I guess is the big question.
I am ready to do this. Lord of the Rings wise, I've only gotten a few games in, I think, since the last time we attempted this. It's been just a little busy with work and everything else, and my mother-in-law comes over and babysits, so that's usually when I have Lord of the Rings time, and she had to stay away for a couple weeks. So all I got to do is do like a couple attempts with a Grey Wanderer Thranduil deck, and
Did it work?
it worked really well actually.
Okay.
Despite me forgetting to put Timely Aid and Resourceful in the first time. It
The
still
funny
didn't have
thing
any.
is you found 50 other cards that worked just as well, right? Like you're like, I
Well,
don't.
like once I got Steward of Gondor on him, like resources weren't really an issue. So between the contract and that, it's like, oh yeah, the Sylvans are cheap enough. I can play two a turn, no problem.
Right.
Uh, and just one of those things, like once they were in, it just gave more options for making sure it was a little more consistent. Um, Also, on Rings DB, I got a good suggestion to add Legolas ally to the deck, so that gave it some
Yeah.
card
Card
draw.
draw. Yep.
So
Don't
it
talk to
hums
me about
along.
Sylvans. I'll tell you that much. Uh,
So yeah, that deck's doing pretty well. I've got that set up downstairs, and
Valiant Sacrifice is a good leadership card to put in there that's in Sphere because it's
yep,
when a
that's been
character
in.
leaves play. So
Yeah, that's in both versions of the deck. That was the only card draw initially, it's, and I mean it's just another one of those things. Like Legolas gives it a little more consistency with Valiant Sacrifice to be like, yep, my hand has always got plenty of options to do, and the Sylvans just keep hitting the board.
right,
The other thing is willpower tends to be a little low since I don't have Celeborn to boost them.
right,
So Faramir leadership ally had to go in the sideboard for certain quests. So I tried
uh,
against the Drowned Ruins, and I couldn't get anywhere without beating resources to Sahir to boost his willpower.
right. Yeah, it's Drowned Ruins. That's the one quest that Teddy and I are playing the Dream Chaser cycle, and that's the one quest we have left to play. It's the Drowned Ruins. We played Kobas Haven and the last two. And then
City of Corsairs?
City of Corsairs during LCG Con weekend. So now we're kind of going back and finishing up. So we did the map one. What's that? Temple of the
Um,
Deceived,
yes.
right? And then so we did that, and now we have to do the Drowned Ruins. So
It's an interesting quest. It's just a bad matchup for Sylvans because there's a lot of two cost or less hate in that.
right, the cycle has two cost or less stuff. So it's kind
Yeah,
of
I
a
lost half my board state to one that's like deal one damage to each ally with cost two or less, and it's like, well, that's pretty much all my Sylvans except for like trackers and Legolas.
right.
I still kept going after that though. I was able to rebuild despite that, and just But still, that was like a 20-turn game just to lose on it. I was like, okay, this is not the deck for,
Right.
or this is not the quest to take this deck against. Like,
Right.
we'll go to a different one and test it out some more and see how it does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would love to sit here and talk about Sylvans for the rest of the game time, but I think that we should probably get into playing some Hobbit Saga, right?
Yes, we probably should. I know
Okay.
you're thrilled to revisit riddles and everything else.
Yeah, that's it's exciting for me. But we're all set up here, so you can see that I have a starting hand. I've taken my mulligan. In my deck, I also have. That's not part of the original. The whole point of this, Matt and I got together months ago now and said, let's play through the Hobbit using the recommended decks that are in the back of the insert. And so so that's what we're doing. But we won the treasure, so we added. I have Sting and Orcrist in my deck, and Matt has Glamdring in his deck. So you can see my hand here, and you can see Matt's hand here. And so we've decided to keep these hands. So even though Matt has Brock Iron Fist in it, we'll forgive him that. Actually, you know what, Matt? You know what's really funny about Brock is he was one of the most popular shows that we ever recorded. Like, we did a show on Brock Iron Fist, and he was like, he's always like top. He's in the top 10 of shows. It's funny to think about that.
It's an interesting show because, I mean, he's pretty much universally panned as like the worst card in the core set.
Yeah, I mean, if his cost was 4, he'd be good. But he's not just 4; he's 6. He's 2 more than what's normal. So, I mean, some people could even defend a 5-cost Brock Iron Fist, but nobody can defend a 6-cost Brock Iron Fist. So,
Yeah, well. I think the intent is never actually pay that 6 cost.
Right. Right. But if you're losing a hero, you're doing something wrong anyways. So early in the card pool, this was probably an okay card, but I think now that the card pool is just about complete, we still have to wait for one more AP to come out. But, I think that Brock is not the thing. But it's fun to see cards that you don't normally use in a deck and then just use them. So.
Well, in this deck, as we've seen from previous playthroughs, just chunks out resources like there's no tomorrow, so he's playable.
Now you sound like Ted. Every card has its place.
I mean, I agree with Ted on that. There's a niche for all the cards, and not everything has to be a staple, right?
Not everything can be a staple, right? There is a niche for all these cards, but well, we won't argue the benefits of. You should come on the show sometime. You can guest show on Brock Iron Fist. You can do it. We can do a guest spot.
Brock Iron Fist revisited.
Yeah, right.
Or a Messenger of the King, Brock Iron Fist.
Oh yeah, great. Make him even more useless. Okay, let's set up the quest here. Matt, you're really good at doing that, so why don't you tell everybody what's going on here? I mean, we've done it 3 other times, so maybe the short version here. What's going on and why our board state looks the way it does?
So after killing the Great Goblin, we are trying to flee from the Goblin dungeons in the Misty Mountains, and Bilbo has fallen off Dory's back. So that's why Bilbo is over here riddling with Gollum, over on the right-hand side. And we have our own staging area because we're basically playing Gandalf and the Dwarves, trying to make our way out.
and nobody knows that Bilbo is not with them at this point, right?
Right. I believe in the book, Dory just complains. He's like, he fell off my back, and we were all scrambling and fighting. He's like, I didn't have time to look behind me. I just assumed he followed.
Right. And you can't blame him for that, right?
No, it's totally reasonable.
Right. Okay. Well, so let's see if Bilbo can catch up to the group this time. So stage 1A says add the lake in the cavern to the staging area, create a riddle area, and that's what Matt was talking about with stage 2A, and follow the setup instructions. So we have the lake in the cavern, and thanks to the viewer who pointed out that we had the wrong threat on this, it's 2 times the number of players in the game. So we had it as 2 in the first playthrough. So it's a good thing we didn't win, because I would have felt cheated. So it should be 4 though, because we have 2 players, and then it's twice the number of players, so it's 4. So we'll flip this card over, and then we just can't move to stage 3A until both 1B and 2B are complete, and then it says reveal an additional counter card per player during the staging step. So that's going to be us probably riddling. The staging areas can't interact. Like, I can't play cards onto Bilbo. I can't do anything to help Bilbo over here. But the way that the encounter cards interact help us or hurt us over in this second staging area. So stage 2A is during the confusion Bumble. I combined the next 2 words. During the confusion, Bilbo stumbled down a tunnel and into Gollum's cave. There, the hobbit had to outwit the creature Gollum in a dangerous riddle contest to discover the way out. And so you search for Gollum and Bilbo's magic ring, and then you put Bilbo's magic ring onto Bilbo, and these 2 have a battle of the wits. And then we flip this over, and again, we can't go to 3A until both are completed, and you can't put progress tokens except by riddle answers, and you can't do anything to anything in the riddle area except by quest effects. So it's going to be crazy. So that's the setup, the physical setup of the game, and Matt gave you the story setup and everything. So I think, we are finally ready to begin, right, Matt?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay. So we will do, for the purposes of recording, we'll do non-synchronous planning phases. So Matt will plan, and then I'll plan, so that way we can show everybody what we're doing. But a lot of people, when they play Octagon, just plan together simultaneously, so it's fine. But Matt's first player, so he gets to go first.
All right. Well, I actually have lots of expensive cards in my hand, other than 2 spare hood and cloaks. So
right.
I think I'm actually going to just go ahead and pass my planning and hope next turn I can get the ally train going with my Feely.
Okay, that's good, because Feely will also then trigger the response on Thorin, and I guess it's not a response, it's just a passive ability, but it triggers a response on Nori. So that's good. I don't even know what I drew. I drew another Goblin Cleaver. Okay, and I have a lot of cards in my hand that I'm not going to play as well, which is a little scary, but I want to get out Beorn and the Erebor Hammersmith, so I'm going to have to wait a turn. If I would have gotten what do I want to say? If I would have gotten a
Dwarven Axe?
Yeah, some sort of weapon, I would have put it out into play, but I didn't, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, and I think our strategy that worked out really well is to build up resources on Bilbo if we can. If we fail one, and then sometime we have to really decide if we're going to take the riddle or not here at the beginning. So, okay, so I guess we quest then, right?
Right.
Okie doke.
Well, man, I think last time we were okay if I quested with everyone to start.
Okay.
So I will be sending my 7.
Okay, and then I'll send Thalon. This changes everything right here. 4, So we have 8 in the stage. We have 8 I can defend with Ori once. I can also take something undefended with Gimli. So if we get a couple of enemies, there's lots of enemies in this deck, so it's frustrating. Okay. So I guess we're 8.
Right. Versus 4.
8 up against 4. Okay. Did you update? Oh, one of the things I forgot to mention in this playthrough is that we have a spreadsheet off to the side to help us with the riddles. So did you update the spreadsheet for what we just drew?
Not for what we just drew, actually. So Spare Hidden Cloak is now 2, and
Goblin
you drew.
Cleavers.
Yep. All right. Oh, good. I'm right on that one.
Okay. So we have 4 cards coming our way. Ugh. Okay, card number 1. Goblin Cave. So that's 3 more threat. And then 2. Okay, so we get Wargs. It says that's a card type.
Card type is generally one of the easier ones for us. Oh, what
Right.
happened, spreadsheet?
I got it. Oh, you put a.
Didn't...
You have to keep going back until you find the error that you put in it. I'll edit this out of here. It's something to do with the num drawn column, because every single one is a reference.
Well, it's weird because like the neutral says reference doesn't exist, but it should.
Can you undo until you get numbers back?
That's probably going to be the easiest thing. Let's see. No. There we go. So something about when I updated Spare Hidden Cloak. All right,
Okay.
then.
There
I
it
don't
is.
know. I don't know why it did that.
Maybe put a space after it or something, or I don't know, or hit.
I don't know. It's
It was wonky, but
yeah. I think it's Google Sheets being a little wonky because I'm not even seeing some numbers on some of the cross
right.
references. So I don't
Yeah.
know what. Maybe I need to reload. That might be a good idea.
Okay. But you don't have any neutral events.
Yeah, I guess it's just hiding the 0 percentages now.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Well, it seems. I think we got it good enough here. We'll be able to tell.
Okay. So I'll back up to the riddle mechanic,
Okay.
and or I don't know. We'll edit that part out, and then we'll pick it up here. So.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I guess this is a name card type. So how do you feel about doing the riddle mechanic instead of taking the warg?
I feel like we have a pretty good shot at naming the right card type because looks like I've got about a 45% chance on events, and you've got a 40% chance on the same card type.
Right. So
And we've got 2 cards.
right, 2 cards is always good. So okay, so we'll take the riddle here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so shuffle your deck, right?
Shuffle. All right.
Okay.
So
Let's hope. What are you picking? You're picking event?
yes, I'm going to pick event.
Okey-doke. 2 cards.
There's 1
There's 1.
and 2.
2 events. Okay. Don't forget to put them in your handy dandy little spreadsheet.
Yes. Sneak
And that
attack and late adventurer.
Okay.
Well, that was a good first riddle.
That was a great first riddle. Okay, so that goes by. Okay, so now it's my cards. First card is the Warg's Glade. I just don't want to get... What's my spheres looking like?
Pretty heavy in tactics with 47% roughly. And it's the first player names a sphere, so actually it'd be
Oh,
me.
it's you, right? I always forget the riddle is first player. So you have leadership.
I'm over 50% on leadership.
You are, and you only draw one card.
Ooh, that's right.
I think
It's only
though
two.
that's right. What were you gonna say?
I said it's only 2 threats. So,
I know, but it's 3 locations, and we'd already be failing the quest.
yeah. I think we could risk it. We did pretty well with that last one. We're over 50%, even on one card, and we still have the ring available if we need it.
We have the ring, and we have a resource, so we can. In essence, we have the chance to draw 3 cards if we needed to. So.
All right, leadership, not leadership. Oh, that's a.
Oh man, that's a Dwarven Tomb card right there. If we had a Dwarven Tomb. Okay, do we spend the 1?
I
think we should.
Yeah, so we still would have the ring to try and build up resources if we don't keep pressing our luck here. So leadership again. Man,
that's rough.
Still have one more card to go. I think we're just maybe
one more card if we wanted to.
Well, I was thinking counter cards. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
So I'm kind of leery on pressing.
Yeah. I think we just let it
fail.
Let it fail. So, but this card goes by. But now
Bilbo takes the attack.
This guy attacks here. We defend with Bilbo. Bilbo takes a damage. Okay. Last card. When revealed, starting with the first player, each player must search the encounter deck and encounter discard pile for one creature. Put it into play engaged with him. Then shuffle the encounter deck. Do you want to put something engaged with us, or do you want to do the riddle?
We basically only bring out the Wild War because that's the only creature in the discard pile.
This one is encounter deck and discard pile.
Man, let's see. Type and cost. Cost is always tough because it's spread out across 6 values or 7 values.
Right.
Our odds are not great on that one, and we've already spent our resource.
Right. Event 1 cost is the one with the highest percentage for you.
Yeah, that's only 22%.
But you do get 3 cards. So I don't know how that percentage changes as, you know.
Roughly as each card gets, as I reveal 1 card from the deck, it's roughly changed about 2%, generally speaking. And the creatures are going to be really tough for us to deal with right now. But I think if we fail this riddle, it's pretty much game over.
Right.
I guess if we're one way or another, we're going to be in a bad spot if we don't pass it or if we take the treachery. So I think I'd rather take my chances on the riddle, because then if we fail, at least we get to restart.
Put ourselves out of misery. Yep. Okay. So we will do the riddle. And
3 cards.
Okay. And don't forget to
1
shuffle.
cost event. Yep. Do 2 shuffles for luck.
Yes. Then we're bound to get it. I know it.
All right. Not a leadership event. Or sorry,
1 cost event. Yep.
Not. All right. 3 cost event.
We're getting.
And 5 cost.
5 cost event. So at least we got events, but we didn't do it. And I don't know what we could have done to. Oh, we can do the ring. Yep. So I'll do the ring. We raise our threat by 2 or 1? 2. Okay. So that's still 1 cost event. So go ahead. Do we get it?
Sorry. And no.
2 cost attachment. Okay, so now we go into the end game. So again, this is one of the reasons why I can't stand. Like, you can't do anything other than what we've done to really.
Well, at least with the
mitigate
recommended
this.
decks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could have not taken the first riddle, but it wouldn't have impacted this riddle, right? Like, it just
Right. So
like. I mean, it would have discarded less because we got sneak attack and test of will, and hasty stroke. So it would have increased our odds a little bit. But like, that's the thing that's frustrating about this, is that it's like it's not a skill based thing. It's literally just a luck thing.
Well, the skill is the deck building portion, and we've taken that part out by applying the recommended decks.
Right.
So it just is what it is. It's going to take a lot of luck to get through this playing the recommended decks.
Yeah, I think that also if we could have had more allies out at the beginning, we probably would have been a little bit better off, if that makes sense, because we could have.
We could have taken the stretchy. Because
Right.
I wouldn't have been like, well, then I would be taking undefended attacks right at the beginning.
Right.
I mean, for your part, getting an enemy right at the start would have been okay. You had ready people to deal with it.
Right. So it's either quest completely so that we feel comfortable not riddling, or, I don't know. It's strange.
Well, it's just a lot of decisions each
Right.
time, just even to get through one staging. Even if we'd kept the warg out, like, he would have been engaging someone.
Right. And that doesn't change anything about this other than the percentages in our deck, right? Like, that's the thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
oh well, let's cut this off and we will try to tackle this again, right?
Sounds good.
Okay. So everybody, thanks for joining us, and we will talk to you later.
Bye, everyone.